Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin in Tucson, Arizona. Thanks for joining me today. OldPuebloCoin.com, TucsonCoinshow.com, and also when we do these videos, if we have stuff available for sale, we're going to go ahead and list them. They will be linked in, not linked in the bio, but they'll be linked down in the show notes. You click on the title if you're on a computer or probably on your phone. If you click on the title, it'll pop down a menu. It'll pop down the rest of the description, and you'll see the links. So here we go. Here we go again. For those of you who didn't see it, we got a almost complete roll of Booker T. Washingtons in, and we decided to send them all into CAC. If you want to watch that video, click on the link there and watch the original video. So this is interesting. This one here, of course, did not grade. We'll start with that guy. And you can see why, but I don't see why. In other words, there's some schmutz on there. There's definitely some PVC, and this doesn't tell me that. So the holder from CACG does not tell me that. Okay, so which they've always been the most forthcoming about why a coin isn't holdered, or if a coin why it isn't stickered. So hopefully they are not getting away from that, because that would be a mistake in my opinion. This is really good. It would be good if it just said, PVC or corrosion or whatever, So having said that, what we're going to do is the remaining 16 coins, I'm going to fly through these guys and kind of isolate them by my opinion of grade. We're going to go pretty quick on these and then do a reveal, because I don't know what grades or what coins. Once again, you talk about the PVC and stuff. This actually has, you can see, this actually has a little bit of stuff on the surface, but it doesn't have the big green spots. So I am somewhat intrigued by that. And that was actually my big dilemma originally with the entire group, was I didn't know if they were going to have to all be treated because of that. So overall, though, if you look beyond the haze, that's a really great looking coin underneath all the haze there. This is gonna be difficult. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of put them in groups based on what I'm seeing here. So I think I had mentioned in the original video that most of the coins look to be fairly gem, close to gem. I'm gonna put that in a five bucket. Like I said, we're going to go pretty quick. Now, here's where you get technical on grading, right? So, coin looks great from a distance. You'll notice all the little marks kind of on the face right there. And if you want to compare it and contrast it to the one previously, so this one has fewer of those big contact marks on the face. There are, of course, 3 sides to every coin. We're going to look at the back side here and say this guy actually also really, really nice. It has a little bit of a spot there in the upper left-hand corner, but that is not a hit. So I would put the one on the right at a little bit better of a technical grade. Okay, do I like this guy better? For better or for worse? So to me, this has a lot more of the little contact marks on it. A lot of little things. So they actually, if you dipped this coin and took off that kind of original haze to it, a little bit of murkiness, this actually, all those little marks on his face would really pop. There's a good angle. You can see how that's where the technical grading comes in on a coin where you're really kind of riveted to the lustrous fields. This coin definitely, to me, is going to be closer to that 3 category, we'll call it. We're going to go like 3s, 4s, 5s so far, something like that. Super hard to grade when you get this dark. This guy here, the reverse, you can see pretty clearly. It's that obverse where all of a sudden it's like, okay, what's going to happen here? You have to be able to see through the toning and see hits and marks. So I can see some stuff going on the cheek and the nose. This coin is definitely not my favorite. And also there's like an ugliness factor to it. I'm gonna put that all the way to the left for me. I think that's kind of more of a 3. This coin here, you've got a lot more of, a lot fewer hits, but there's some bigger hits, if you will. You can kind of see how that hit on the forehead jumps. And over on the left-hand side, also it's interesting to see, because these coins were together for so long, you can see how it's toned over. So one of the aspects to look at here is the difference between when a hit is old and something is toned over versus a hit that's fresh. So sometimes I'll see a scratch, so he's got some marks and stuff on his face, and I'll see a scratch and I'll say that's a fresh scratch. And you can kind of tell when you look at a coin whether the coin is a fresh hit, a fresh scratch, or an old one, because it'll be a different color than everything else. Okay, so you'll see on this is interesting. This is also going to get into technical grading. This particular coin, you can actually see a lot of really small fine hits across the face. But to me, those are all a lot less detrimental than the previous coin, where you had fewer looking hits, but they were bigger. Because these hits at just an eye view without a loop, you almost don't even see. They kind of disappear. So I would put that at a grade higher. Okay, what do we got going on here? I think this guy here, once again, you'll see a lot of little marks. And little marks don't hurt as much as big marks do. For all of you video game guys out there, it's just like a lot of small things that inflict less. What would that be? DP? Is it damage points, or do you guys do his HP hit points? I actually kind of like that coin. I'm waffling between which pile to put it in there. Here's another coin. I think this was one of the end coins on this particular group. Once again, this is a coin that for me is there's when I was talking about technical grading, and then there's also kind of commercial grading, or when you're looking at a coin based almost entirely on eye appeal. And eye appeal still makes up the majority of a grade, in my opinion. Because you can have a coin that has a really technically nice grade, but it's just kind of ugly. This coin is, I think, nicer than the other ugly coin. Such a salesman. All right, I'm going to put that in the left-hand pile. So if you think about it, so these coins, they'll cost $20-something, mid-20s to grade. And so, but a low-grade Booker T. Washington, by low grade, I mean like a Mint-State 63 or 64 is probably only a $40 to $50 type coin. And so you're talking about really coins that are hard to get graded, even in this environment, and be able to make money on, right? So if you've got a big group of them and you have to purchase them and get them graded, it can be a little bit more difficult. I'm finding this coin to be a lot more pleasing than the other coins. Like I've said before, kids, don't try this at home. So my commentary there on getting coins graded. The cost involved and the different outcomes. And it's not just the graders being inconsistent, it's us being inconsistent, right? Like, we fall in love with our baby, and then don't tell me I got an ugly kid kind of thing. So it's really hard once we've convinced ourselves of something. It's really hard for us to be unconvinced once we've been convinced. Once again, this coin has, although there's some hits on it, I really like that coin a lot. I'm also waffling. I'm going to the right. I'm going to throw some of these to the right. Okay, here now you've got one that's, I think, a little bit more of a really nice example. So kind of a gem grade at a 65 type coin is going to be in that $50 to $75 range, and then a 66, I think they're north of 100, kind of 100-ish. Just depends. Not all coins are equal. This coin here, I think you've got something that has really good eye appeal to it, really great luster under there. I'm kind of thinking like I like this coin better than the rest so far. We're going to create a new pile here to the right. Get him off the screen a little bit. I think in general terms, my piles represent 3s, 4s, 5s, and a 6. And we're going to see just how differently they grade based on how I grade. That's okay. there won't be any feelings hurt. I try to explain this to people sometimes because people get really uptight about grading. I actually tend to not. I have certain coins that I feel a very strong like tinge of justice towards. When I see a coin that's in a holder and I think it's like way off, that's like when I get kind of worked up. And in general, when I'm sending in a lot of coins that are your average common date coins, common condition, you know, like these are not scarce. Considering how few of these were made, these are really available in the open marketplace, partially because they made them for many, many years. But, you know, I don't get usually too offended by the grading companies, you know, having things graded a certain way. I don't get caught up in the, oh, someone got hosed. But there'll always be a coin or two that comes over my desk, and maybe I'll mention it when I see it. This one I'm definitely on the fence on. I like the fields a lot. It has a lot of contact marks, but they're super tiny. I'm going to put that into the 4 column. So this one already has just a much, much nicer look than the other ones do. So anyway, sometimes you'll hear me get my justice button triggered, something like that. I'm going 5 on that guy. Once again, this one I think is really nice. You know, once again, you can see under magnification all those little tiny contact marks, but the fields are great. Kind of has the look to it. Make sure there's no extra hits. The reverse of these coins generally come really nice. I like that one. All right, so we're going to go through and see how we did on these, where I'm going to put this last guy. This coin actually is one of the first coins that has a few more hits on the back of the coin, just a couple little marks throughout there that I see. All right, let's see here. You're nice. I like you. I like you a lot. Okay, I only put one in at the end here. So there's a couple of these that I thought about putting all the way to the end. But so now what I am going to do is go on through these. I'm going to start here, and maybe I'll just number these as I go through, right? So we have, this was 163. Let's see here. Number 1 was, oh, look at that. We've got an exact agreement. One, they called that a 63. This was the second coin. I called it a 63. Let's see here. We're going to use this really nice free pen that I got. No, I'm not going to use a nice free pen. Okay, that one they had in the 4 pile. I'm going to make new piles here. Okay, number 3, I called a 63. And, oh, which side's the sticky on this thing here? That one they called a 4. All right. I have a feeling I'm going to have some in here that they're going to call 3s that I called 4s. Okay. All right, so far I was like conservative compared to what they did here. 5, 64. I have a feeling we're going to move some the other way here. This is so good. Look at the quality of video this is. Okay. Look at me, Mr. Conservative Grader. All right, you guys need any help down there? See, oh, by the way, I should besides writing on this, I have to point something out here. CAC changed their holders. Whoops, I'm screwing this all up. I called that a 4. This is my 4 pile. It's also, they called it a 4. Check it out. So they got the new gray backgrounds. Here is their first iteration with the greens. Also, you'll notice here that the holder themselves appear to, are these a different size? Oh no, they're the same size. That's an optical illusion. And I think the label holder area is actually the same size. It just looks like it's a different size. All right, 64, 64. I don't know what I'm doing here. Why am I sorting these piles out differently? All right. All right. That's so distracted here. Squirrel. I called these 64s. 64. So I should put these in the piles that they called coins. 4, 4. This one they called a 5, right? 4, 4, 5. I know. I'm making this like way more complicated than it needs to be. Sorry, my dudes. Here we go. 4s. 4. So we got a lot of 4s, it looks like. 3s, 4s, okay. What coin number am I on? 8? Yeah, I think so. This is going to be 8. I called it a 64. This is going to be 9. I called it a 64. Then we'll get to the next 2 here. And, oh, wow. Okay, that's a big jumper. That's a big jumper. They called this a 6. Going off the hizzy here. And this one, I called a 4. They called a 4. Got a couple of matches. This is their 4. 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, now we're going to see all the ones that I called 65s that they're going to call, oh, a 65, look at that, that they're going to call 63s, right? So 1165. And this one is a 66, okay. Yeah, that was one that I was waffling on, that I was thinking I wasn't sure whether I was going to put that at a 6 or a 5. So that one, I get that. Okay, called this one A. Okay, like I said, I waffled on a couple of those, but I don't think I got any 7s in this group. Like I said, I didn't know which coin was which in here. I had seen the original grade bill some time ago when it came in, but I didn't. It's been a while. Okay, there's a downgrade from a 5 to a 4. 14. One of the things we do really easily as collectors is we overgrade our own stuff. There's another 64. Okay. Number 15 is a 65. And that one came back a 6. And my only one, number 16, and I call this a 66. The only one that I called a 66, ready for a 3. Oh, okay, good, good, good. So you'll see there's some level of consistency here between me and them. Let's see, I got 163, it looks like, if I did this right, and 166 out of the bunch. And then after that, it looks like we had 4 65s. Pardon me, Ben, dum-dum. These are 6s on the end, not 65s. Brilliant, brilliant guy here. All right, 5 6s, and then only 2 5s, and then 8 64s, and a 63. So if you want to put these things on a graph, you know, it would look like a pie chart. It would look like this is what the chart would look like. There we go. See if I can stack these well enough. See, that's what it would look like on a pie chart. Not a pie chart. I'm good with that stuff. This is what it would look like on a graph. There you go. All right, guys. Thanks so much for being here today. I'm Ben the Coin Geek. You can subscribe by clicking on the owl button in the corner and watch more videos on the right side of the screen. Thanks.